another edition of Food Trails. You're watching on Asianet Newsable, and this time I'm filling in for Supriya. I'm Pratibha Raman here, doing this Food Trails here, and the venue today is Carnatic on Church Street in Bengaluru. The moment I heard this name, Carnatic, I thought, okay, it's going to be a South Indian fair, and me being a South Indian, I'm not in favor of rice or rasam or sambar, no. But the moment I stepped in here, this whole kuttu vilakku that you see here kind of caught my eye, and this entire ambience, this backdrop is kind of eye-catching. And the moment I stepped in, there is Carnatic music that is playing, and I've been a Carnatic fan for over 10 years now. I've learned Carnatic music as well, and suddenly my hunger pangs are rising. And here is Jervis telling me what is going to be on the menu today.
Yeah, so the Beast has a lot to offer. It boasts of a great thali which has a multitude and a range of dishes, and also the things that we need to look at is the desserts that we have with Yelnir Pasam, with Obattu, with coconut mousse. There are a lot of things to try, and it's something that I haven't experienced in a restaurant over here, and I've been here before, but I really want to experience the whole range of dishes that they have to offer. And maybe Paul can tell us a little bit more about the thali aspect of it, because it really boasts of an amazing variety of dishes.
What do you have to say, Paul?
So I've had both the veg and the non-veg thali, and I must say it covers all the special dishes from all around the south, and covering around 20 to 34 dishes. I think you're up for a treat tonight.
I can't wait to devour this beast. The dim-lit ambience, faint Carnatic instrumental playing in the backdrop, huge paintings of South Indian musician Purandara Das, Kathakali and Bharatnatyam dancers from Chitrakala Parishad Arts Academy welcomed us in. As the sound of the brass temple bells adorning the window pane jingled, our stomachs roared in hunger. As I'm suffering from cold, cough and mild fever, I decided to settle in for piping hot soup. No, it's not rasam. It is nugekai soup. For all these South Indians, they would definitely start laughing the moment I say nugekai soup. I will not get into that. For the uninitiated, nugekai is drumstick. So, first point is I'm quite disappointed because I thought this would be peeled, and the insides of the nugekai would be there in the soup, but I'm quite lazy, but still I wouldn't mind doing this. And I am stealing Paul's plate, which is actually meant for the bones apparently, but I'd rather use it for this because I'm pure vegetarian and I love drumstick. There are these shreds of coconut in the soup, and that adds flavor to the soup. I still feel there's mild tinge of garlic, and I'm not a garlic fan, but it's enjoyable, no doubt. Every slurp was in sync. The pitch was set, the harmony was intact, and just when we thought of the missing rhythm, the kitchen at Carnatic had the answer. One of the famous dishes of this place is the kuttu paratha. Typical South Indian parathas, shredded, beaten, and mixed together with minced meat and sautéed onions. The chef uses the ladle on the hot tawa precisely to the jatis and thalam of classical dance. Takatimi takacham, takatimi takacham. And Paul was quick to order just that along with a chicken starter.
I've decided to go a la carte today, and what I have here is Amma's Koli. It's a special from Tamil Nadu. So let's dig right in. Taking a bite of this sort of transport me back to my grandma's house when I used to arrive by train. And when I reached there, she would have this right there with my rice and dal. So tasty and so good, crispy and just so juicy with flavors. A little bit of masala on the top, which sort of amplifies the flavors in this and takes you back to a traditional home cooked meal in Tamil Nadu. So what we have here is probably my most favorite dish from Tamil Nadu, called the kottu paratha. So what they do here is they use these iron girdles, and they chop the meat and the paratha together, and they add some chettinad spices to it, and that's what makes this really flavorful, and it's also a wholesome dish. I think having this one plate will probably fill you up, and it's found on all the street corners in Tamil Nadu, and it's also quite a delicacy when you go there. So next time you're there, you should definitely try this out. Or if you're here in Bangalore, wait for me to tell you how I feel about this. I ordered the mutton kottu paratha, and just as I took my first bite, you could feel that explosion of flavors. You can see I'm already starting to sweat a little. And yeah, the meat's cooked really well, and they have this really tangy taste along with the paratha. It goes so well, and highly recommended to try here at Carnatic as well, because this is one of the places that does a really good job in preparing a really good kottu paratha. So do come here and check it out.
Carnatic is a quiet place ensconced on the second floor near Starbucks on Church Street in Bengaluru. While the place doesn't scream its presence from the outside, the interiors symbolize reverberant acoustics of a temple.
Carnatic is less than a year old. We're going to be a year this October end. So the partners, what you see in other restaurants is you'll either have just Andhra food or Tamil Nadu cuisine. So what they wanted to do is bring the whole of South India under one roof. So they personally went across South Indian states and they picked chefs from each state and they came up with this whole concept.
While Paul was lost in his chicken, Jervis and I decided to try the thali, veg and non-veg. Well, you know I'm the vegetarian, right? And it wasn't just a thali, it was a maha thali.
I'm gonna go for the papad first. It's slightly oily. The oil is still sticking around here, but I like the taste. Nothing to get you started like aplam, right? Then there's this tiny bit called it's a tiny chicken wrap or a roll. Wow, it's very soft. You don't get the feeling that you don't get the feeling that you're eating meat. It's not strandy, it's not thready. It sort of melts in your mouth. I don't know what they put in it, but it's kind of great. Neer dosa, a favorite of mine, and there are a whole range of dishes for me to try from. I have the Andhra chili chicken and some Kerala cuisine, some Tamil Nadu cuisine. I think I'm going to go for the nati koli. Wow, it has a lot of, I feel like it has a lot of onion in it, but it's more like the perfect tomato based chicken that you can find. I have two kinds of biryani here. One is the chicken biryani and the other is the mutton biryani. I don't know which is which. It's like magic over here. I need to make some space. Bay leaf, important, very important bay leaf in all your preparations. You know what's amazing about biryanis in South India when they make it authentic? It's never dry. Though it may seem dry, but there's this whole bit of juicy meat, and it's good when you eat with your hand because you get all the flavors right within and you can mix it really well. Of course, you need to know how to eat with your hand. It's so perfect because you would think that you would get a whole lot of flavors in it, but there's not too much of a flavor. It's like a no fuss biryani, and the meat is cooked properly. It just slips right off the bone, and it's really amazing. Here comes the chicken biryani. The chicken biryani, once again, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see that it's not overcooked. I like it when chicken's not overcooked and it's just easy to eat. Sometimes you'll find yourself eating, you find the meat being very chewy in biryani, and usually you end up going for the fried items and you ignore the pieces of the biryani. But with an authentic South biryani, you do not neglect the non-veg in the biryani because it is essential and it's a part of that biryani. It's amazing. I want to draw your attention to what drew my attention, which is the mutton chops. It's Karnataka style, which means that it is going to be spicy, and I like spice. The real test for mutton is the smell of the mutton. You do not want too much of that smell. There is a lot of that mutton flavor, which I think as an authentic South Indian dish you will require, but at the same time it's just so juicy, and once again it's cooked really well, and everything just comes off the bone very easily. So the chefs really know what they're doing, and the flavors are just amazing. Again, like, it's spice, but it's really good spice. It's also yum. So we got 2 teeny tiny cups made of copper, and everything is served in copper with their drinks. So we have cantaloupe and we have buttermilk. I'm going to wash the food down with some buttermilk. It's very different. It doesn't have that ginger taste that you get in buttermilk usually. It doesn't have any of the green chili, or I do not know what flavor exactly it is, but they have done something different with this buttermilk. Or maybe it's the teeny tiny cup that's making the whole difference.
I'm going to start the attack. I start with the chitrana. I generally love my food tangy, and if there's no flavor of lemon in chitrana, it loses it. I would definitely need more lemon, and it needs to be a lot more spicy, though I love the mix of groundnuts in it. Next, I'm going to taste the more karambu. This is like the South Indian version of the curry. Okay, I'm mistaken. It's the payasam, and it is made of javarsi, and that gives it a crunchy flavor when you taste the payasam. And you have a whole lot of things. Poriyal, there's vetto karambu, but there's this interesting one called, I think it is chettinad flavor if I'm not wrong, and there's channa in it. It has a whole lot of onions and masala in it. Not up to my liking, but my favorite is going to be this bonda soup. It's been ages since I had bonda soup. The taste of bonda soup actually rests in the way it lies in the soup for a very long time. It needs to be really soft, it has to melt in your mouth, and this aces it. I think the bonda soup is the best of the lot, and full marks to the payasam. 35 items in one plate. That's 5 meals put together, from pudina rice, coconut rice to dosa, kootu, rasam, sambar, chutneys and more. The food here is priced between 200 rupees and 1000 rupees. Need I say we ate too much? And we still didn't stop. What about the desserts?
Now we've come to the most exciting part of our meal, to the one of the most underrated parts of the Indian cuisine is actually the South Indian desserts. So what we have here are 3 different types of desserts that we're going to try. So what I have in front of me is the coconut mousse, which has some desiccated coconut on top with some roasted dry fruits as well. And let's dig in. So what you have here is a very nice creamy texture, and let's see what it tastes like. It's like it's like the tender coconut, the pulp that you get in it. It tastes exactly like that. One thing, it's not too heavy. It's light and creamy. And again, an explosion of flavor, something that I really like and appreciate about a dessert.
Okay, so what I have with me now is something called a chicken unde. It's made with besan and sugar. I like how this breaks off, and it's not that sweet. It's got a powdery texture, but it's not so, and it has that sugar crystals in it. It makes it really beautiful. It also melts in your mouth. I think this is by far one of the best types of undes I've had. Chicken unde.
I thought it would taste more like tender coconut, but then it's a lot more sugary than the regular tender coconut that's served on the streets. But I'm told that some of my friends who've come to Carnatic have never really gotten hold of tender coconut, but I've just been plain lucky here to get this Yelaneer payasam. It hails from Kerala, and the reason why it generally runs out of stock is because they have to get those thin slice of tender coconut that is layered inside the actual tender coconut. You know what I mean. So it is very difficult to source that, so they have to hand pick those, and only then they can get this lovely dessert called Yelaneer payasam. To me, it tastes absolutely brilliant, and since it hails from Kerala, I'm now transported to Kerala. I'm now floating in the backwaters of Kerala. I'm sleeping in the boat house right now. So until next week on Food Trails on Asianet Newsable, do not miss, do stay tuned. This is Pratibha Raman along with Jervis and Paul signing off with video journalist Karthik.